From UFOs to ghost and psychic powers, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. In June of 1983, officers arrested Henry Lee Lucas. Along with his partner Ottis Toole, Lucas eventually confessed to over 300 murders. The story took a bizarre turn when the killers claimed they were part of the Hand of Death, a nationwide cult of Satan worshippers. They said high-ranking government officials and businessmen were also members of the cult, and they also said they would not be executed. Are these the ramblings of psychopaths? Like most serial killers, Lucas and Toole were notorious exaggerators, but they weren't the only killers claiming membership in a cult. When David Berkowitz, the son of Sam, was captured, he said he was part of a cult called the 4-Pi movement, which ordered the murders. He only admitted to 2 shootings. Although some investigators believed his story, the media and courts ignored his statements. In 1979, an unknown assailant attacked Berkowitz in prison and slit his throat. After surviving the attack, he stopped talking about the cult. Could there really be a cult of serial killers? Let's look at 4-Pi. The story of the 4-Pi conspiracy begins with a group called the Process Church of the Final Judgment, founded in England. At the height of the 60s counterculture movement, the church found a home in San Francisco. Church representatives allegedly met with the Manson family before and after the Tate murders. When authorities dismantled the Manson family, the church lost credibility. They couldn't shed their terrible public image and dwindled, eventually reorganizing as an animal charity. Some believe the 4-Pi movement rose from the ashes as a violent offshoot of the Process Church. But 4-Pi is an obscure rumor, an urban legend. Berkowitz and Manson refused to talk about the Process Church or 4-Pi. If this cult really does exist, then who's in charge? Why did they stop killing? Here's where it gets crazy. Some believe the murders continue. After all, thousands of people disappear each year and no one knows how many serial killers remain free. Some killers swear they are part of a group. Berkowitz gave authorities information about 2 murders that occurred outside of New York even though he was not present. Lucas said he'd visited Jim Jones on behalf of the cult. During the 1980s, America fell victim to a hysteria over alleged satanic cults running the government. Ultimately, these claims were discredited. Yet many conspiracy theorists believe it's the other way around, that leaders of these shadowy cults are part of U.S. intelligence, meaning the government controls the cults. To support this claim, theorists draw connections between brainwashing projects like MKUltra and the use of criminal enterprise in Cuba and Central America. These agents allegedly use their influence to prevent any murders from coming to light until necessary, as a distraction from an unpopular war, for example. The main weakness in this conspiracy theory is that it relies heavily on the statements of people who are insane. Oddly enough, Henry Lee Lucas and Ottis Toole were not executed. In Florida, Toole's sentence was commuted to life by Governor Jeb Bush. In Texas, Henry Lee Lucas received a commutation from then-Governor George W. Bush. This was the only reprieve granted under George Bush's term. To skeptics, it's a coincidence. To conspiracy theorists, it's evidence of something they don't want you to know.